when we do use these platforms to search, these platforms are gathering the data from different data points. Either go on a website, directory sites, forums, YouTube videos, a bunch of different places. And this is a very important aspect and really what impacts small businesses to the core.
Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Google Business Buzz. I'm Ajay and that's
Henry.
And we're here today and we're super excited to be discussing websites. Now, websites are a critical topic in digital marketing and beyond. And we obviously did another episode about websites, but it's been a while. We last touched on this topic in January. So, about 6 months have passed since then. And as we know in the marketing technology space, nothing stays the same. A lot has changed in those last 6 months. And Henry and I are super stoked to go into everything that's changed and what that means for you, the small to medium sized enterprise. Now, before we do that, we're going to quickly rehash our highlights of last website episode. So we have a foundation upon which we can build. So in the previous website episode, we talked about the importance of good website design, how it's paramount to understand the customer journey, which hint, hint, we'll revisit that again. The impact of the website quality score on Google's ranking, about how a website ranks is everything, right? If you want more traffic, you want to be ranking better, that's going to promote your website to a larger audience, get more visitors who can then see and interact with your products and services. We talked about the design and user experience in websites being paramount. We talked about the significance of mobile optimization. It is a mobile-friendly world, people. Most people today on the internet are doing so on their devices, whether that be your smartphone, your tablet. Less and less people are using desktops to do the things that you've come to do on the internet, unless you're like Henry and I at work. You're on a desktop, obviously. We talked about how there's a way to see and measure website performance, that this isn't some mystic thing that we can't understand. We talked about the Lighthouse report being one way to see how a website is performing in the real world and kind of an industry gold standard. And finally, we talked about pros and cons of different CMS platforms or builders, right? Why should I get Ajay and Henry a custom WordPress site from OMG National or another trusted entity when I can just go to a builder and make my own cookie cutter site? Well, there were a lot of good takeaways there. And a lot has changed since January, right, Henry? A lot has changed. So real quickly, let's run them through the last 6 months, focusing on the most important updates. What is the key buzzword that has taken this industry and all of the tech space by storm?
AI is the key buzzword, and it's taking basically the world by storm. It's every industry is going to see change here in the next 5 years. We're going to see a massive shift in society because of AI, but specifically in marketing, we know how Google and OpenAI have been battling for basically the spots, the eyeballs, the users, because OpenAI started out in with their ChatGPT product, made it public in November of 22, and then Google decided to wait, and they waited long. Their product came out with a bunch of bugs. Their demos featured incorrect characters, right, and personalities when they tried to do what OpenAI did. And since the beginning of these AI games, right, the fight between OpenAI and Google, OpenAI has had a leg up. So Google has always tried and has been one step behind. Now we're seeing that Google might have some points gained on OpenAI because of the amount of devices that they have access to because of Android, right? Their Android platform is in all of Samsung mobile devices. It's really the main device platform outside of the United States. A lot of people have Android devices, and you can simply enable Gemini within your device and then have it be an assistant that can help you organize your calendar events. It can help you create messages. It can help you create emails through your mobile device. Apple, which is the next big cell phone carrier, cell phone device, their platform doesn't have an AI readily available. You'll have to download OpenAI to access ChatGPT, or you'll download Google to access Gemini. But Siri's voice assistant isn't enough. So Apple's actually in talks with Google and with OpenAI, trying to integrate as soon as possible. So Google is actually battling on two fronts, right? They're battling AI, their AIs with OpenAI, and they're battling with Apple to better, increase the usage of their device, right, with their AI. So it's important to take that into consideration. Google has two big, three big competitors in Meta, in Apple, and in OpenAI, but two of them have have the platforms, right? And only one of them has hardware, where Google also has hardware.
And I think it's fair to say that's the most Google has been challenged kind of since they won the internet war way back in the day for kind of search engine dominance, if you will. And now all of a sudden, this AI OpenAI coming into the fray with ChatGPT was the first significant successful disruption that has been posed to Google, is how I would phrase that. And you're really seeing them start to double up and understand that risk and then put a lot of resources and iterate and adapt, respond very quickly. So it's certainly an interesting time to watch this unfold. And it's only a good thing when these big tech giants fight us, consumers and marketers and technologists, we win because we get better technology as a result of their beef. There's been a lot of beef recently, and ironically enough, Google and these other tech players, it seems, have their own beef. But this beef is good for us. It's good for the small to medium sized enterprise. It's good for the internet, and it's good for technology. So yes, Google and OpenAI have been going at it. Recently, there was the Google I/O developer conference, and a few hours before that, OpenAI had actually done their own in a very petty move to Google. So these two won't directly come out and acknowledge each other by name as much as we'd like, but they're going at it, believe it or not. So, Henry, that Apple devices there was a great point. Whoever is going to get that deal with Apple to be integrated is going to see a lot of market share because iPhones are so popular. So what else do they need to know?
Google and Apple had a deal that I believe came to an end because of the courts, right? Because Google got taken to court for anti-monopoly practices, and what they were doing was they were giving Apple billions of dollars a year so that they can be the default search engine in Safari, right? Now they can't do that, but they can get back into Apple by negotiating a deal to get the AI in there. What makes me like pretty surprised is that Apple doesn't have their own AI. I can't believe that. They must have something in the works. They must like be learning from both of these companies, probably taking those learnings, integrating it into their own AI. And I mean, even Meta's AI, which is open source, right? That means it's free. So like, and it's not bad. It's really good. People can use that and build on top of that. It can get integrated into Apple. Who knows? Right now, like you said, it's like the wild west of the internet back in the 90s. Nobody knew who was going to end up on top. It was Yahoo, Bing, Google. Now, who's going to end up on top? We really don't know.
We have no idea, but it came as a surprise to me too that Meta. We found out in our research that Meta seemingly partnered with Microsoft with that Copilot or with that Bing integration. When we were using Meta's AI, everyone, we actually saw Bing results be prioritized. Bing was the default search engine. We had trouble going over to Google, so it looks like Bing is the default there. So not only is Google fighting with OpenAI, Google's also, I feel like, got subtle pressure from Meta, and Microsoft is really the big player behind that as well. So
And that's interesting, right? Now with with the Google I/O conference and then the Google Marketing Live conference, we saw that Astra product, right? Google Astra, which basically makes your phone into an assistant that sees the world and hears the world, right? So it's like you can envision this in a type of Apple goggles, Apple Lens type deal, like the Google Lens that someday that they created at some point that didn't work so well. Now that they can bring it back with this, they have the Ray-Ban Meta lens, right? The sunglasses, those work amazingly with Llama 3, right? Llama 3, which can see and hear and and give you answers to what you're seeing, to all of your questions. It has access to the internet. It's going to be a massive shift to how we actually interact with our devices. There's going to be a point where we won't need to take our phones out of our pockets, or we might not even need phones. It might just be right here on our lenses.
Seeing, talk, speaking, images, video, multimodality is very much a theme that we got to bring to the forefront when we're talking about this AI stuff. As everyone knows, when these large language models bursted onto the scene, namely ChatGPT, the disruptor, followed quickly by Google's Bard, now Gemini, the primary mode to interact with it was text. But now, from listening to all of their conferences, one topic that they're all focusing on is multimodality, how to interact with it in multiple ways. Pretty soon here, we can likely, there's a little bit of speculation, envision a future in which you're not just going on your device and your platforms and typing something in, engaging through text. You're speaking to it like you would your buddy. You're showing it what you see, like Henry said, either through some cool augmented reality glasses or through your smartphone. We're already Androids, guys. You're just carrying it around. It's an extension of you. So that was definitely pretty cool to witness as well. But before we go any further with this conversation, I just want to get everyone on the same page. When we talk about Microsoft, Copilot, OpenAI, Gemini, Google, there's a lot of words being thrown at you. And for let's try and condense that and simplify it, guys. When you think Copilot, think Microsoft. That's the OpenAI integration, right? OpenAI, Microsoft, Copilot. When you think ChatGPT, think OpenAI. OpenAI is ChatGPT. When you think Meta AI, that's Facebook, think Llama. That's Meta's AI. When you think Gemini, think Google. Gemini is Google's AI. So again, that's Microsoft Copilot, OpenAI's ChatGPT, Facebook's or Meta AI's Llama, and Google's Gemini. So just so you guys have a key of what's what to follow along in this discussion.
Those are a few, right? There are many others. There's Claude 3 Opus from Anthropic. There's Yi Large by O1 AI. There's a bunch. Rika, Core. The people are working on getting this technology to a point where Elon Musk just recently said we won't have to work. It will be optional to work. At some point. We never know when that's going to happen. What we do know is that in 2024, this is just starting and this is as primitive as it's going to be, right? It's only going to get better. And when we do use these platforms to search, to create events, to create itineraries for the weekend, these platforms are gathering the data from different data points, right, across the internet. They're going to websites, they're going to directory sites, they're going to forums, they're going to YouTube videos, they're going to a bunch of different places. And this is what we want to show you right now. This is a very important aspect and really what impacts small businesses to the core.
100%. We started this conversation with how this website is changing in light of all this AI technology, and now we're going to round it out with that. So let's start by looking at some of these different AI models we've been talking about. Let's start with Gemini. This is Google's AI. I'm going to type in a search, something like this. Give me 5 reputable window cleaners in Sunrise, Florida. So, guys, keep in mind that right now, when we talk search, two big search engines are obviously Google and Bing, but keep in mind that that may not be how the landscape is going to look like in the future. People are using AI like search engines. People are using things that you wouldn't expect to be used as search engines, like TikTok as search engine. So this is an example of me using Google's AI as a search engine. This might be a search that someone does. So I've done this search. Now here's where we're going to bring it back to the website. Keep in mind these results: Streakless Shine window cleaning, number one; two, Super Clean Co., three, Fish window cleaning, four, Sunrise window cleaners, so on and so forth. Where are they getting these? Let's look. The number one Streakless Shine window cleaning business, they're pulling that from the website. You can see the website is linked twice. I can go and visit Streakless Shine window cleaning's website directly from this interface if I want. As I go down here, I can see that website is shown for the number two result as well. And for number three, what's especially interesting is it's also pulling from directories. So it's not just using the website, but so far 3 out of these 5 results are coming directly from the website. Looking below here, we can see that it's also pulling from Yelp, which is a directory. So
Mhm.
websites and directories, that is the Gemini experience.
And if you go back real quick, I just want to point out that they all also mention the Google reviews in them. If you scroll up real quick,
Mhm.
you see Sunrise. They have 4-star ratings
Oh
on Google with one
yeah,
review. They have, if you go up, you'll see the same thing. So it's not necessarily linking to the GBP, but it is pulling
pulling in
in data.
signals.
Google with 17 reviews. Another one mentioned that they don't have a website, but they have an Angie's listing, and that's also right there that they have listing on Angie.
Hmm.
That's important, right? So it's like right now AI is gathering information from across the web. You really, as a business owner, need to think about organizing this information, making sure it's accurate and easily accessible. We've always said this, right? For the algorithm, for Google and for users, but now it's for AI. Like you said, people are using these things as assistants. People are using these things for search, right? You never know where you're going to find the next prospect, your next client. You really shouldn't care. You should just be everywhere and being
Be ready,
readily available to close that deal.
be prepared. We don't know where it's
Uh,
coming from, but we know it's coming from everywhere. So our best bet is to show up everywhere and show up properly. So moving on from Google's Gemini, we're going to try the same search in ChatGPT. And I'm simply going to copy paste my search query here. Give me 5 reputable window cleaners in Sunrise, Florida, and wait for it to think. And let's have a look. And Henry, what are we seeing here?
Saying Better Business Bureau. It's very important. Better Business
Mhm.
Bureau is one of the most important and trustworthy directory listings out there. We're seeing websites, websites, and websites. So now we understand the importance of directory listings, but the website is a constant, right? It's like prioritizing the information there to help bring that to users readily. It's not giving them their GBP. It's not giving them the Yelp necessarily. If it doesn't have to, it would rather deliver the website.
100%. So websites were a constant. They showed up in Google's Gemini searches. They also showed up in OpenAI's ChatGPT. Now I'm seeing a trend here. So let's ask Meta AI the same query. Give me 5 reputable window cleaners in Sunrise, Florida. Off we go. We can see a lot of the same names. So when we look into these, we can see that online review sites such as Angie or Better Business Bureau are brought up, but we can see that Bing integration we talked about. What else are we seeing, Henry?
Yeah, we're seeing the same, pretty much the same list that we saw based off of websites. Click on view sources real fast. Okay, so number one, the website, BBB and Angie. Very
Website,
cool
BBB, and
website.
Angie.
Mhm. And if you click on that Bing button, it'll take you to the Bing search, I imagine.
Let's see. Yep,
Oh,
directly to a
very
Bing
cool.
search. So we're seeing again,
That's right.
third time the website has been a constant, mentioned even here in Meta's AI search. And
Mhm.
last but not least, I guess we can do a Bing search, a Bing query for the same query. Give me
Click
5
into
reputable
Copilot.
window cleaners. Copilot, give me 5 reputable window cleaners in Sunrise, Florida. And let's see what it says. And boom, already right away we see a website.
Mhm.
We see another website.
Groupon rating.
That's cool.
Yeah.
See it right there, 4.83.
Don't stop it. Keep it coming. Okay. Oh, look at that. That's an ad. That's
Yep.
an ad. Interesting.
Means people are using this like search if they think that ads are going to
Now,
be well placed here.
the what's coming up in the map is different than what's coming up in the text result up top.
Hmm.
So not completely. There's some that do align, like smiling,
But
but
they're not a one
that's
to one.
not a one-to-one. That's cool. That's interesting.
It's really cool.
So
So
it's a different source.
different source and a multitude of sources that they're drawing from. So we've seen across all of these AIs, we've seen everything from directories to websites to references to Google reviews to other sites. So I think the
Groupon
common
reviews.
Groupon reviews exactly, but a common thread, guys, to bring it all back home that we can go back to is that websites came up in every case. So before, when we were talking about websites, it was already paramount, it was already super critical. Now it's even more important because your website, the criticality of having that SEO in good standing, having your a good functioning website out there cannot be understated. This means that you can get more visibility, not just across the internet that you're used to, but more expansively also across AI platforms that are also going to leverage, how good your website is as an authority factor in that search to display you or not. So the website is
Mhm.
absolutely paramount, even more so in the age of AI. And that's really what having a good website means today. It means showing up in even more places than you could ever dream about before. And um, yeah,
Completely. No, it's like thinking about actual traffic, right? Like store traffic, thinking about people that walk into your store. Let's think about a website as a store, right? How much foot traffic can you get to your store? And what happens when someone walks into the store? Do they just walk out? Why does that happen? Right? Is it because the store isn't attractive? Is it because it doesn't have the right services, the right products? Is it because the store doesn't have the right price that the people are looking for? Same thing with websites, right? People don't just click on a website in the majority, right? A lot of users are savvy and they're going to get even savvier with AI. AI is not just going to go into a website because they're smart enough to bring in relevant websites to a search because they know where to look and what data points they're looking at. So you have to think about, if you're getting a lot of traffic but then you're not getting people to fill out a form or to call you from your website, or to actually click on a direction request link from your website, then what's wrong with your website? Like that's what we have to think about. User experience on a website is the same. It's as important as it is for Google, as it is for Bing, as it is for Apple, as it is for Meta. User experience on a website is extremely important. We know that Google, for, like, let's talk LSA, right? They make sure to include responsiveness into their ranking factors because they want to know that businesses are able and willing to pick up the phone when they deliver those results to their users. And if they're not, then they're going to get out of the results, because all Google wants to do is give their users a great experience. And that same thing goes to the website. Google always would go in and index the site, rank the site for user experience. If it lacks it, it has the metrics that it gives it to rank it lower. Now we have AI that's more algorithms, better algorithms, algorithms that have improved. So we need to think about human user experience and making sure that we're up to date with how consumer behavior is changing.
Henry, couldn't have said it better myself. And meanwhile, stay up to date with us so we can stay up to date with you on all the ways that this industry is changing, from your websites to paid advertising and everything and anything in between. We're here for you at the Google Business Buzz. I'm Ajay, that's Henry, and it's been a pleasure kicking it with you guys. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.